Hey everybody, hope you're doing good. Hope you've been working on the art projects I sent home with the NTI packets. I've gotten some pictures from some of your parents. Everything I've seen so far looks great, so I'm sure all the stuff that I haven't seen also looks great too. Pretty much all of those projects were 2D, two-dimensional. That's a drawing, that's a painting, it's something that's flat. We talk about that in school a lot. Today, I wanted to show you guys a couple things that you could do to make some 3D art at home, three-dimensional. So when we think of 3D art, we think of a sculpture. It's something that has multiple sides. You can walk around it. If it's small, you can pick it up. It's anything that's just not flat. It's got multiple sides to it. 3D stuff, three-dimensional stuff are the objects that we see in the real world. It's not always the easiest thing to make a sculpture at home. You have to have tools, you have to have materials. So today, the one that I'm going to show you how to make is very easy because you only need a couple of things. You'll need a pencil, something to write with. You might need a ruler or something to help you make some straight lines. You're going to need some scissors. And you're gonna need some cardboard. Now, this is not thick cardboard. This is a cereal box that I've cut up. Most boxes that food come in, crackers, granola bars, most boxes that a food comes in from the store, it's gonna be real thin cardboard and it's good for stuff like this. So, I'm going to make some shapes on this, and they're basically going to be pieces that I can use to build sculptures with. There's a couple of different ways to do this. I can either build something that I know what I want from the very beginning, or I can just make some general shapes that I can use over and over and over to make a whole bunch of different stuff. We talk about in class the two different kinds of shapes. We've got geometric shapes. Those are things like triangles and squares and circles. Those are shapes that we know the names to. They are symmetrical. They have a lot of perfectly straight lines and angles. The other kind of shape that we talk about a lot are organic shapes. Those are shapes that don't really have a name. Those are shapes that remind us of stuff from nature, like ponds and lakes, things that grow. So you can pick any kind of shape you want for this, geometric, organic, a combination of both. It'll all work the same. So I'm going to start off with just some simple, easy, geometric shapes. I'm going to use a square. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to take something to write with, and I'm going to make some straight lines. I would go all the way down that way, and then I would go all the way down this way. And that would give me a bunch of squares. Now, I already have some that I cut out. So let's say I went from this to this. Now I can go through, cut these apart, and I've got a bunch of squares. Now right now, they're not gonna do any good. I can't connect these in any way unless I do it with something permanent, like tape or glue. But we don't really want this to be permanent. We want this to be something we can use, take apart, use again. So I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm going to very carefully cut some lines. Now I don't want them to go all the way through. I don't want them to even go all the way to the middle. If my square is 2 inches around, then maybe I want the lines to be like a ½ inch. Now once I have those lines, those little slits that I made, that's where I'm going to connect these to other pieces. So I've got some of these that I've already made up. And the way that we connect these is the line, the slit on one piece goes into the other piece. And you might have to kind of twist it around to make sure that you're going all the way in there. But once those are connected, they're pretty sturdy. They're not really going to come apart unless you take them apart. So I can add more together to build something. So this would be kind of an example of not knowing what I wanted to do when I got started. I just made some general shapes and now I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. So there's my first little sculpture. I guess we would say this is abstract art because it doesn't really look like anything from the real world. Now, I can take it apart, I can build something new. So as you can see, if you make a bunch of the same exact shape, your options are limited. So I would maybe make some squares, some triangles, some circles, some rectangles, make a bunch of different ones, and that will help you kind of have more options with what you want to build. So we did say that one of the other ways would be to know what you wanted to build from the start. Then you know exactly what shapes you're going to need to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and do something like that. This will probably take a minute, so I'm going to speed it up so you don't waste a bunch of time. Alright, I'm going to pause for a second to explain what my plan is. As you can see, I'm going to make a little robot guy. So I want at least the front and the back to be the same shape. So instead of trying to make this exact same shape on my own, I'm going to cut the first one out, and then all I have to do is trace it. Alright, so now I've got my front, I've got my back. I need to connect them on the sides. And to do that, I'm going to use pieces that are a lot like the squares that we started with. I'm going to use some of my scraps. Also, every single piece of scrap that I have, I can keep and build something else out of. There's not really any need to throw any of this stuff away. I'm just going to make, let's say, 4 rectangles. Now, instead of putting slits, cuts, lines all the way around it, I'm just going to do 2 on the same side. All right, now I need some slits for those to attach to on my robot shapes. And it will be easier for you if they are in the same spot on each robot. So since I have the first ones cut, I'm going to take a pencil and make just a little mark right where I want the cuts on my next piece so those match up. Alright, so I've got my front, my back, and my connector pieces. So now I'm going to start putting them all together. And this might take some time, might take some effort, but I promise when you're done, it will be worth it. All right, got one side complete. Time to work on the other side. Once all your pieces are in, you can kind of slightly bend it around in different directions to try and make it all line up the way you want it to. All right, there we go. There is my cereal box robot. Let's see if he stands up. Nope, doesn't. But you know what? It's cardboard, so I can just trim off a little bit of this bottom piece here. Boom, got it. All right, cereal box cardboard, done. Hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you're having fun with your families at home. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.